Hey everybody, welcome back. So where do I sit? As you can see on the table, I still have this block of maple that I was milling up in the last video. I have not made the chops out of it, but why? Well, I'll show you why. Now, if you can't see it, but that is some really nice fiddleback maple. I just can't bring myself to chop that up and make vice chops out of it. And it's just too nice of a piece of wood. It deserves to be made into something a little bit more appropriate for its classiness, a jewelry box or whatever. And it's actually thick enough to where I thought about resawing it right down the middle and book matching something, I don't know, an end table, something that'll be in my house somewhere. But that leaves us with the dilemma of, so what are we gonna make the chops out of now, right? So I stopped by a few small lumber yards on the way home that both of them have a small selection of hardwoods, and I kind of wanted to go over and get your opinions, because I'm not going to make them tonight. I wanted to see if my 10 viewers want to weigh in on this. I have two options available. Well, I guess three options really. I have my first option is red oak. So I've got a nice piece of red oak. It's not the best stuff. The grain orientation isn't great, but it is what it is. And this measures up at actually just over 7/4, and it is almost, well, it's not even the same width. So in the smallest width, it is 6 3/16, or 3/8, sorry. So 6 3/8 by 7/4, and I cut them out at 2.5 feet long. So there's 30 inches here that I can cut right down the middle and get 15 inches per chop. That's option number one, red oak. And that was actually really cheap. I got that for under $5. $5 a board foot. And it was kind of weird because I kind of got to know the people of the local lumber yard, and nobody else was in there, and we just get small talk about whatever. And they really almost threw this one in for free, because I did the math in my head for this one, and what I paid for both of these, I should have paid just for this one piece. The second option, and I've used oak before, I've used maple before, I've used cherry. I've dealt with a few different hardwoods. It was a first. I don't know if it's a first, but it's not very often that I work with figured maple, and I actually got online and kind of found out what that was and exactly. But my other option that I have here, who knows what that is? Well, if you guessed ash, you'd be correct. So this is ash, and it is the red oak. I'm I'm kind of limited by only being able to do 6 3/8, or if I cut the chop out of the larger side. Well, I guess it wouldn't matter. So 6 3/8 or 6 1/4 once I mill it down is my max there, really, as far as height of the chop itself. This here is much wider at, I think it's almost a foot. Well, okay, never mind. It's 11 inches, almost 11 inches. So it's 10 3/4 wide. We'll call it the 10 3/4 wide, pretty much the whole board, and it is a solid 2 inches. So it's full dimension 2x. We'll call it what was it? 10 3/4. And I also have 30 inches of this. I know Ash makes good tool handles, and it's good for obviously lots of things, cabinet making. I mean, it's a good primary hardwood, which, quite frankly, I don't know why I have such a a nice chunk of it here, because this is grown on the East Coast primarily. But I don't know. I've never dealt with ash before. I don't have a lot of experience with it. Maybe you guys can educate me on ash, what its weaknesses and strengths are, and whatnot. I could use cherry, but the cherry that they had, I think they had it mixed up, and I could get it corrected, but they were talking like $12 a board foot, and I'm not paying $12 a board foot for cherry. When the market is solidly in the 6 to 7 range. I mean, $12 a board foot. It was 12 something too. It wasn't even. It was like closer to 13 if I'm not mistaken. And man, you're getting into like Purple Heart status, or some exotic woods for that kind of price. So, I mean, I guess it's still not out of the question to use the. Which one do you think is going to be stronger? My theory kind of was at the beginning that the FIDDLEBACK. Now it has awesome grain orientation, but the FIDDLEBACK is the FIDDLEBACK. I was thinking, the figure in it would make it stronger, would give it a little bit of strength. The undulation in the grain would give it strength. I'm going to do some research tonight, and the other options we have is, now this isn't the board I would use, but just regular old maple. This is just some hit and miss from one of my local yards that I was actually thinking about using for the rear side of the chop. I don't know yet. We'll see. But which one do you think is stronger? Strengths and weaknesses. I'll do some research to find out which one is more dense, because I just don't know. Which one would be more appropriate for vice chops. Now, the only other thing that I haven't really talked about yet in this video is the fact that I plan on. Now, this I'd have less work because it's almost the exact height that I need it to be. This is the red oak. It's almost the exact height that I need it to be. So it would be less work, less planing, less cutting. I would cut one length cut it in half, plane everything, mill it all up perfect, and then mount it. But I still want to strengthen the board. Now I've thought about, now this is I think 3/4, so 3/4 oak dowels that I could drill a hole and run these down into the wood, full length of the wood, and I can use these as strength and rigidity for the top section, really. The top section, you know, this part of the vise that is not supported by the metal section of the vise, right? So all this section right here. What I don't want to do is be clamping on something right here that's just, you know, maybe that deep, and then it snap off. Now this is 2-inch thick, or almost, so I highly doubt that's going to be a problem, but I mean, it's still a concern of mine. So what I wanted to do was strengthen it by either running an oak dowel down it, which would be easiest, 3/4 dowel, drill a hole, you know, probably glue it in place, pound it in. And I think these are, I've already forgotten, but I'm pretty sure this is beech. And I could mill some of these up, maybe 3/4 to 1 inch, and drive these down into it. I like the square, but it would be a lot harder, obviously, to drill and chisel out a square that would fit, that I would be able to, you know, match that perfectly to give me the strength that I want. And then I have a little bit larger dowel here. This is an 1.25 inch dowel. I could go to like an 1-inch dowel, which would be in between these two. Because this one, now the 1.25 inch gives me plenty of room on both sides for the full 2-inch piece of ash, but not so much here because I'm, you know, it leaves me with a little more than 1/4 inch on either side, maybe. I am looking at using probably 1-inch dowels for my dogs that are going, because I'm going to have, the way I want to orient this or get it going, since I can't use the pop-up dog that's installed on my vise, I plan on using a system of basically 2 dogs that run the entire length, and they'll actually be about half as long as this stick. And that way, if I pop it all the way up, now I'm sitting a good 10 inches or so above the vise, so that I can then clamp down on some large pieces that might be somewhere on the table. So that's the way that the direction that I'm thinking. They did have a chunk of walnut there. It's a little overkill too, but I'm just looking for a really nice vise chop. So tell me what you guys think. Strengths and weaknesses. If you know, I mean, I'll do the research too, but if you want to throw it in there, what you find on the internet, or what you've known, as far as density and uses, what your personal experiences might be with these two, with these different kinds of wood: maple, red oak, ash, walnut, I guess. That's a little bit expensive for for what I'm trying to do, but I couldn't find. The only reason that I'm hesitant to use this red oak right away is because it's not as thick. It's only 7, not 8/4, and it's not very deep. I won't be able to drape it over the vise, so to speak. And that's really the only two flaws that are keeping me from just going straight with the red oak. Now this here I'd have to chop out. I would use this section, but I would chop off the sapwood here and just use the heartwood. And I think for obvious reasons. So tell me what you think, and leave me a comment down below. If you're digging what I'm doing, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe, do all that stuff. Friends and family, I love you. Everybody else, let me know what you think. I'll see you in the next video.